Hello, my lovely listeners. I hope you are okay. I finally got some inspiration. I was just listening to a podcast and I thought, this is my time. I have to go and record something. I have been thinking about many topics recently, as I always do. I try not to force it, but also I try to be consistent. And many things come to my head now. For example, one related to astrology and something that I have been listening to about Geminis, which I am Gemini, that we have lots of Geminis supposed to have lots of interests and they supposed to have lots of hobbies, and they don't, and they learn about lots of things, but they don't stick to one thing. So I am trying to overcome that and be more consistent, because it's not only for yourself. So it's not because you are thinking, oh, has Hannah posted another episode? This is by the way something that I think about other podcasters that I am listening to. I'm always really happy, or YouTubers, I'm always really happy when I see their episodes, and they are much more consistent than me. The ones that I am listening to, they tend to do at least one episode a week. With me, it's every couple of weeks. So, but I am trying, and I will be trying. And if it's not every week, it's going to be every couple of weeks, which is okay as well. I am doing all the other things, live things, 3D things, like working, taking care of my child, taking care of myself, enjoying life. And this is something that I love. It's my diary. I was trying to explain to one of my colleagues. We had a casual conversation, although I cannot have casual conversations about nothing. So it was going a little bit deeper. And she asked me about my hobbies, and one of the hobbies that I've mentioned was this podcast. And I said, since creating this podcast, since speaking on the podcast, since talking on the podcast, I found that that it's easier for me to talk, for example, at the team meetings, that it's easier for me to talk in a social environment when there's more people around. And for example, I used to really go quite red long time ago, or some time ago, when I was talking in front of people. And now I found that it's obviously from a bit of mixed of emotions, anxiety, shame, maybe, I don't really know. And this was all coming up for me when I was speaking in front of a lot of people. And now I find that it doesn't happen, or it doesn't happen as often. Sometimes it still happens, especially when I see that people don't understand me, or they think, or I think they think I said something in a weird way, or just simply said something weird. So that's why, or out of place maybe, or maybe that I shouldn't be speaking at all. So that's when I get red. I don't know what's your experience with that. All of us have got this kind of anxiety related things to do with the body, and how this what happens to your body when you speak in front of people. I've seen people picking their fingernails, or doing movements with their limbs, or getting red sometimes, or getting red spots on the necks, or in below the neck area. So there are really different ways. And what I thought, my first thought of what I wanted to talk today, was about freedom, and how I don't feel free nowadays. Not really. I feel very constrained by the 3D reality that's happening around me, and I observe how other people are, what they are doing to other people, my spiritual people that I observe on social media, mostly because I don't really have many spiritual people as such in my life. Obviously there are some people who are spiritual without really knowing or without realizing in my life, but it's not 100% conscious. I'm still waiting for this group of friends or this social environment that will be really aligned with myself. And I know it's not only spirituality. I know that there is just a general feel of aloneness, and this is something that actually people talk about at my workplace, and I realized how many people all of a sudden feel alone. And I don't know if that's because of the recent lockdowns and what was happening in the world, that everyone stopped being as social as before. But I think and my intuition tells me that people were always feeling lonely, and you can feel lonely when you are with other people. So this, what happened now, is just brought it to the surface, and the lack of connection, first of all lack of connection with yourself, which brings then lack of connection with others, because the main person you need to have connection with is yourself. So if you're lacking this connection, there's not going to be as easy to connect to other people. So bring it back to freedom. My freedom lies in how I feel within myself, and the consciousness and awareness. Awareness is actually something that is pivotal thing for me, is something that I am focusing on for the last couple of years, is this awareness and this contact with your intuition, which for me is very, very similar. Awareness of what you are doing, how you are doing it, what you are thinking, why you are thinking it, being aware of your body, being aware of your environment, and then wider, being aware of what's happening around you in your imminent street, in your work environment, but also in your country, in other countries, and in the world. So depends on you how much involved you want to get in that, and how much information you are allowing to flow into you, in what kind of information, so that it's not overbearing and it's not limiting by putting you into fear. And this is the freedom. This is the way you have control over it, by being aware. And I struggle with that sometimes. I feel that things coming to me that are not only controlling being, it could be anything. It could be things at work that you cannot do, although I'm really, really lucky now. I don't have that many things at work that controlling me as I, for example, had before, but I still do. People who are trying to control you, obviously it can come from your parents, and it can be very physical, to more how I feel now, more in my own head. So things that kind of ingrown in me, of how the way to think, the way to behave, the way to feel around certain subjects, like for example money and abundance. That's one of the at the moment one of the biggest things that I feel is taking my freedom away. And maybe I am concentrating on this too much, maybe, and I know it's always the case. It's always the case, and every one of the spiritual healers will tell you that, to let it go. To let it go, or in the same time, feel the feelings, to let them pass, because, and I'm trying to approach it from different angles, and I think all the angles to approach this are valid. So one of the angles will be just that. So feel the feelings. It's there for a reason. It's there to teach you a lesson, and it's not like a lesson like, oh, you haven't done enough, now you are not progressing to another class. It's always progressing, but it's not progress upwards. It's linear. It's linear and also spiral. So it's kind of going always up, but it's going in different directions. But it's always a progress. If you look at things like Fibonacci, so it's growing, but it's growing around, it's spreading, it's expanding, and doesn't always mean that it has to be 7 meters high because you're growing straight. No, this is the progress I want to believe and trust that I am doing with all those lessons, which doesn't make those lessons any easier for me. And how I think about it today, how I was just thinking about it just before I started recording this episode, is that it's very imprisonating. I don't know if that's the word, but I just made it up. So it's imprisonating. It's kind of taking your freedom, or my freedom, away. By the way, those air signs, so signs like Sagittarius and Gemini and Aries, they all air signs. So I think freedom is freedom of movement, freedom of expressing ourselves, freedom of creativity, freedom of being yourself is very, very important for those signs. But nevertheless, I think it's important to everyone, to all the signs. And you also, but when you are considering your sign, you also always should consider your rising sign and your moon sign as well. So it's we all have elements of a few signs in our birth chart, in our person. So that's why I feel quite constrained because of what's happening. And when you listen to news and everything else what's happening, you just see every day more and more things that are being imposed, and sometimes you are not aware, sometimes they are, very often they are veiled as something really positive, while when you scratch the surface and when you look at the bigger picture, maybe you can see that it's not really, or it was maybe positive from the beginning, but now it's starting to be, when you look at it from different angles. What I am talking about now is, I was just listening to this podcast about just current energies and the summer solstice, but there was there was Alicia Brasher. She's got a podcast, and one of her colleagues, I don't remember his name, I think it's Nick something, he was talking about this, how the gender and the idea of what a male is changed so much, that the male now is kind of very flaky, or it's created like this. It's kind of flaky, cannot make decisions, and it's obviously what's happening with the gender neutrality. It's kind of male and female is kind of washed or is kind of merged. We don't have a very or we're starting not having this very firm female and male distinction, which I simply think is not natural. And I'm not saying that I am against something, and I do love everyone. I think that it's worth looking at it as something being hardly imposed on us. I'm also believing that humans are changing, and we do evolve, and maybe this is a part of evolvement, how it looks, and I will always keep my mind open to that. And being hateful or being being hateful is never ever a good thing. There is all the creatures and everyone is here for a reason and was born this or other way for a reason. I just think that what's happening in the world, and plus if you take into consideration the fact that the fertility goes down, and especially male sperm counts goes down, and fertility with women very, very bad as well. And on top of that, the gender, the changing of sexes, that which means pretty much that often there is no way of this person having children, and then all the other theories. When I look at this, there is something just not feeling right. It's just my intuition. It's not feeling right, and this is a part of, I think, imprisonment as well, as taking our freedom, but in a way that we feel or we think it's great, that is giving us more freedoms, when it's actually taking our freedoms away. And it's all happening in front of us. It's all happening with our approval, even with a lot of people approval, because it's done as, this is good for you, this is amazing for you, you will benefit from that. You see, I don't believe that that this is the case, and maybe I am wrong. I can be wrong, and I will accept anyone explaining otherwise. Always, I believe always you have to live with your intuition, and you have to listen to your gut. By the way, why do you say listen to your gut? Because gut is a second brain, and if you read books about the gut and the flora and bacteria and everything else, they say that gut is actually much more intelligent than your brain. So it's definitely something in it. You can tell I am interested in so many things, but my knowledge doesn't go as deep, but it's there, so I can take from it whenever I would like to. So I do invite you to, if you want to deep into some subjects deeper and investigate, please do. I am just saying kind of a little bit surface level, but maybe for some of you it's something that you've never came across, so that will be new information. For some of you, you'd be like, oh, I know so much about this, so much more about this, so that's fine. These are all my thoughts about freedom, and I am angry. It's making me angry. I said Hannah with a very calm voice. I do get angry. This is something that one of my traits from when I was young, probably another lesson. and it's fine. You can express your anger if you want to. You can express your anger as a human emotion if it doesn't hurt anyone else. I think if it's not blaming anyone else, is the emotion that you are allowed to express, and hopefully it's not breaking anything around you. It's something to just feel it. Very good other ways to feel free or sit with this emotion is meditation. I said that many times, and I will keep saying that. It's definitely something that is helpful. It calms you down and dissolves anger very often, and also it goes into your own self, which is huge, which is vast, which is does not have any borders. While sitting there, you are reminding yourself that you are the universe, so you kind of encompassing all those restrictions, and that's how they become null. They just disappear, because it helps you understand that they all within you, that the whole universe is within you. The restrictions are in the same way within you, so they just dissolve. And that's how I like to think about it, because that's what it is. It's just at the moment when you stick with it, when you hear news, when you are trying to think about your solutions for your finance situations or for your budget, that's when you are very, very stuck in the 3D, and it just feels so heavy, and it just feels like it cannot, like it's very difficult to pass through. The last one thing I want to say, just come back to the thing that I've started this episode about feeling the emotions and being this and creating your own reality, is I've started, and I've done it for some time now, just feeling happiness. And the feeling of happiness, it just comes to you and then just sparks in you. I don't know, it's like I don't know how to explain it otherwise. For me, it's in kind of in my tummy, and it's almost like a tiny orgasm. But it's nowhere near where the sexual organs are. It's like a chest it's more in the solar plexus area, so between your tummy and your chest, just underneath your chest. So it's the solar plexus, and it just goes there, and it's just like a spark of a really strong happiness. And that's how I visualize it. It's like a beam of light that goes through your legs and to your head, to your neck, and to your arms, and just spreads like a ray of sunshine. And that's other way how to explain it is sometimes when you exercise and you kind of come out of exercise, this endorphins, this kind of feeling of like a tiny orgasm, like happiness just releasing. And it could be couple of seconds. It doesn't have to be very prolonged, but I think this what I've been trying. This is the happiness, or like feeling the true feeling of happiness. And this can be sparked by anything, by beautiful blue sky, beautiful sunny day, the fact that you are tanned, the amazing coffee, whatever it is, or just the fact that you love your children, pets, family, friend, boyfriend, wife, girlfriend, so much, and you're happy they in your life, or just little moments, or you made it to your bus, or and the plans you have. I think it's best if it's actually something that it's within you or happening now, and little kind of trivial things, the little trivial things that life is made of, those little moments. And I think this helps to step out of the prison every time, because it's not something that you're gonna step out once and you're gonna be out. It's going to be put on you either by yourself, because of the certain things that you've learned, or are patterns, or much often I feel from the kind of outside situation that are designed to put you under this control, to make sure that you are not as aware, conscious, and as listening to your intuition as you should be. I think that's it for this podcast. I think it went quite well. I didn't know how to start it, but then I was just flowing with it, as always. So I hope you enjoyed listening to it. And as always, please like it, this episode. If you like, please also subscribe. And then you will be informed whenever I have a spark of wanting to make a podcast. So, and you can always reach me at Hannah_still on Instagram also. Hope you have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye.